What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Steady Hands augment that was added and if this makes the Cobra DMR the new meta in Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2. As always, if you guys do find this video helpful and informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, and comment down below which you prefer for your main rifle, the Cobra DMR or the Red-Eye AR. So the Steady Hands augment was added in the Star Wars update, and this reduces the amount of recoil that marksman rifles will have. I'll have a side-by-side comparison on screen now of the DMR with and without the perk. So the left side is going to be without the augment, and then the right side is going to be with the augment, and I'll let it roll a few times. And both of these clips were with the gold Cobra DMR, so they're the same rarity. The only difference is that one has the Steady Hands augment and one doesn't. So as you can see from those clips, I think the perk does clearly do its job. It seems like the DMR on the right has kind of less side-to-side bounce between shots than the one on the left did without the perk. And if you are a DMR user, this augment is definitely good. Like if you're someone who loves using the Cobra DMR, I think you'll enjoy having this augment. But if you only wanted to dedicate one augment to your weapon, I definitely think Bloodhound is the better perk, especially in team game modes. This is what allows you to mark people when you tag them with the DMR. It's very, very good. I think this is kind of like the main value of the DMR. But even in solos, it can be quite nice if you tag someone who gets behind cover or who gets into a building. If you're fighting somebody who's in a tree or a bush, having them pinged makes it so much easier. So if I had only one augment to dedicate to my weapon, even though Steady Hands is quite good, I would just much rather have Bloodhound. I think it is one of the better augments in the game for people who enjoy using the DMR. And I definitely still prefer the Red-Eye to the DMR. Like, while this perk is good, and it definitely, like, if I had to use the DMR, I would want both this and Bloodhound. The recoil wasn't really the main thing that was deterring me from using the DMR. It was the fact that it's projectile. And for those of you who don't know, there's two different types of weapons in shooters: hit scan and projectile. Hit scan weapons are like, the moment you shoot your weapon, the bullets basically teleport to where they're going. It's immediate. There's no travel time for the bullet. And this is going to be most of the weapons in the game. The Red-Eye, the Havoc AR, the SMG, the shotguns. Most of the weapons throughout Fortnite's history have been hit scan. Projectile means that there's bullet travel time. So when you shoot the weapon, the bullets will actually have to travel to their destination, meaning you may need to lead shots in some instances when the opponent is moving, or if they're very far away, you might need to like aim up a little bit to account for that bullet drop. And projectile weapons are just way more inconvenient to use in situations where the opponent is moving a lot, which happens a good amount in Fortnite. The main reason why I would pretty much always prefer hit scan weapons in Fortnite, unless the damage difference was ridiculous, is just because of how often fights are like weird in Fortnite. You know, it's not a traditional shooter in the sense that like it's just like soldiers on the ground. You know, we have things like the kinetic blade, we have things like the ODM gear, we have things like rifts, we have things like launch pads. There's a lot of things that allow your character to move a lot in this game, and that's oftentimes going to be the situations where you're using your assault rifle. I feel like I think this, what you view your rifle for, is kind of the main distinction between someone who wants to use like the Red-Eye and someone who wants to use the DMR. Because some players, especially people who come from more traditional shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield, they view their rifle as like kind of the main weapon that they're going to get a majority of their kills with. And because that's how it is in more traditional shooters. You know, you have mid-range fights and then you quickly kill the opponent and then move on to the next. Both Fortnite, because of the HP, oftentimes these long-range fights don't really amount to much, and we have the overshield in this game now too. But like, you might get tags on somebody, and then you have to close the gap on them and finish them with like your AR, your shotgun, your SMG, sorry. And then in build mode back in the day, or throughout all of Fortnite, you weren't really going to get long-range kills because the opponent isn't going to let their, like, they're not just going to sit there and let you shoot them, you know? But even in zero build, a lot of the fights versus people who actually matter, like the better players, it's going to come down to a close-range fight. And that turns your AR mainly into a weapon that you use to get opening damage, and a weapon you use to finish people who are running away using mobility. Those are like the two instances where you use your AR, I feel like. In fighting decent players, oftentimes they're not just going to sit there and have like a straight up AR versus AR fight versus you. If those situations are occurring all the time, the DMR probably would be better because it does have a higher damage and higher fire rate, but that inconvenience, the fact that it's projectile, makes it way less convenient for shooting people who are using mobility like the katana, the ODM gear, the rifts. And this really matters for if you're trying to fight on the island, because if you're fighting on the island and you're already on the island and somebody's rifting onto you, just getting a few AR tags on them can definitely be the difference maker between you surviving or losing that fight and going back to the lobby. And there's also a lot of times where people like repetitively rift, or they come up to the island and fight you and then katana away. I feel like when I was using the DMR to get gameplay for this video, the times I missed it most was when I was fighting on the island. And like I said earlier, even in zero build, I find the kills I get with an assault rifle, where it's just like a mid-range fight and the opponent just sits there and dies, oftentimes that isn't going to be the better player in the lobby. Like, those people are probably players that you would have killed anyways, regardless of what weapon you're using. So I like to take my AR, or choose my AR based on what is going to actually help versus the better players. And the better players, you know, they're going to use their mobility. They're going to get behind cover and be inconvenient to kill. They're not just going to sit there and let you shoot at them. And so I feel like the red eye just works so much better for that. It's better for guaranteeing that you get tags on somebody when you see them. Like, the Cobra DMR can be good, but the projectile nature of it makes it less convenient to hit shots. You can't really guarantee that you're going to hit people 100% of the time when you see them. And like with the red eye, if your aim is good, you can. There's also a glitch in the game with projectile weapons where sometimes the bullets just don't count. I'm sure if you're someone who uses a DMR a lot, you've experienced this. So yeah, I like my AR for getting opening tags and for shooting people running away. Most of the kills that actually matter are going to come from either my shotgun or my SMG. So that's why I prefer the red eye. I feel like it's just much better in those types of fights. But if you are someone who, for whatever reason, you feel like you do just get into a lot of rifle versus rifle fights where like you and the opponent are just standing there shooting each other, the Cobra DMR can be good for that. And this perk definitely does make it a lot better. If you wanted to only have one perk for your weapon, I do think Bloodhound would be much better, like I said earlier. But if you want to dedicate 2 augments to making your DMR better, I think Bloodhound and Steady Hands definitely make the weapon much better than if you didn't have either of those augments. And I don't think using augments to improve your weapon like that is really that detrimental right now, because there isn't very many good augments in the game. You know, like what else are you going to take? Like Dignified Finish, Forecast is back in the game, and that's quite good. The Flare Gun augment is quite good. Light Fingers is quite good. Like Shotgun Recycle is quite good, but there's not that many like busted augments like there were last season, like Forecast, Storm Mark, the 0 Point Dash augment, Pistol Lamp. There was so many like very high quality, like borderline or definitely overpowered augments last season, and I feel like that would kind of deter you from taking some of these more kind of nice benefits for your weapon. But I feel like this season you can definitely get by, you know, just investing your augments into making your weapon better. I definitely think there isn't that much competition for the augments, and if you're someone who likes using the DMR, you'll probably love using the Steady Hands augment because it just makes your weapon much more convenient to use. But that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys found this helpful or informative. If you did, remember to give a like, subscribe if you like some more, and comment down below which rifle you prefer between the Red Eye and the Cobra DMR. That guy I killed on ice had slurps, but okay, that is Pulse Kid. I think we just go on it. I'm not going to get a better opportunity, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I got a blank right there as well. GG's. Bro. I got 2 blanks there? Okay, yeah. It's hard to tell in the moment if I'm just like, because obviously I am biased. I would like for my shots to hit, you know?